Merch on average makes up to 20 to 30% of an artist's revenue, and for indie artists, it doubles your tour income if you sell during shows. Merch also accounts for 37% of the entire music industry's market. That's a big percentage of revenue share. As you know, streaming pays pennies, so a lot of artists focus on building a fan base and touring when starting out. Merch can help with both while also making you more money with high profit margins. It even has the added benefit of people outside of your fan base buying it because they enjoy the design or quality, making it more scalable. There's no downside to it unless you manage it improperly. The best time to sell merch is when people are spending the most, like when you're on tour and during a big album release. People spend the most money during the summer and winter. Summer is obvious, it's when everyone's outside, traveling, and having fun. Winter is the holiday season, so people mostly spend on gifts. Summer makes the most sense to focus on as an artist, but don't sleep on that winter revenue. People being inside and spending on others means you can get an increase in online sales if you market your merch properly, or have merch that does well in those cold months like hoodies. Speaking of hoodies, there's so many types of merch you can sell. The most common are shirts, hoodies, and physical versions of your projects like vinyl, CDs, and cassettes. But you can also sell posters, bags, stickers, hats, and even jewelry. Anything you think your audience will buy and anything that's relevant to your music, you should sell it. Now, how do you make merch that people want to buy? Either hire a designer whose art style you like, a designer that will be a good fit for what you want to make, or do it yourself. My recommendation is getting an artist whose art style you like, but also has at least some experience with print. Finding someone to work on your merch is easy nowadays. Just browse through social media or Google some local artists and spend some time researching and looking through people's work, and you'll find multiple people you want to work with. Yes, it will cost you money, but it's not as expensive as you think, and it's worth the investment. I'll speak more on that later. There are 3 ways you can sell your merch: in person, online through a print-on-demand service, or online managed yourself. Print-on-demand is the easiest method since all you do is sign up, choose a type of merch you want, place your designs, link the page to your website or social media, and that's it. But there's less quality, less control, and worse profit margins. Selling in person at your shows has the highest rate of purchase, but venues get a cut, and profit is limited based on show attendance, and the opposite problem can happen where you don't have enough inventory to meet the demands. Doing it yourself online gives higher profit margins and more control, but requires a lot more management and upfront costs. The best way to maximize profit when selling merch is to sell at shows as well as online through your website. Most people either buy merch in person or from the artist's website. Whether you want to do it yourself or through a print-on-demand service mostly depends on if you can find a reliable person or company to print your merch, how unique your merch is, and if you have the time and extra money to spend on doing it yourself. But if you think it's worth it and it won't contribute to any added burnout or stress, go the self-managed route. A good profit margin to aim for is at least 50%. But when you're selling at shows, you should increase your prices to cover for some of the venue cuts. Also, don't cheap out when paying for merch designs. If the merch doesn't look good, it won't sell as well. How much you pay depends on the designer. There's no end-all be-all of prices. Everyone prices their services differently. Yes, you can find a good designer for cheap, but the chances of that happening are very low. The more you pay, assuming the artist also has an amazing portfolio, the more likely you'll get an amazing design that's exactly what you asked for. Also, you will make that money back anyway, so there's no point in trying to be cheap just because of the upfront cost of the design. For example, if you pay for a $200 design and sell your shirts for $30 and sell 50 shirts, you'll make $750 to $1,200, assuming you're going for the 50% profit margin. So all you have to do is sell around 15 of these shirts to break even with how much you paid for the design. I'm confident that you can sell more than 15 shirts. So does that $200 still look like a lot to you? It makes the difference between something that people might buy because they just want to support versus something they really want to wear to the point where sales go beyond your initial fan base and you have random people buying your merch just because they like the design. Hopefully this video taught you something. If you have any video ideas, just let me know. But other than that, follow my socials here. And a link to my website where you can see some of my merch designs as well as accompanying blog posts are also in the bio. Thank you for watching.